So glad you're joining us for the latest episode of Faithful Resistance from Jefferson Unitarian Church. So many resistance efforts keep popping up across Colorado, largely centered on immigration and ICE. And here's a reminder that you can find many opportunities, from signing petitions and letter writing campaigns to attending protests and vigils, on the JUC website, jeffersonunitarian.org, and then look for the yellow banner on the homepage. That'll take you to the Faithful Resistance page. We're taking this episode to focus on another area of justice work that has a very passionate group of volunteers at our church. So we have focused so much on immigration over the last few months, and in Faithful Resistance we are all about resisting those who push against those who are marginalized in the world. And there are more than immigrants who are marginalized in this world of ours, even in Colorado. And so today we're going to talk to two prime movers in Jefferson Unitarian Church's queer social justice team, Jesse Hennessy and Avery Konecki. Welcome to you both for doing this. And let's just start off, and I'm going to say, we'll talk about the what and the why of there being a team at the church that's focused on queer social justice. Avery, start would you by talking about what are the kinds of things that you all focus on in your team?
Well, the main mission of our group is to work on the resilience of the community, the allyship with all the identities of the acronym, as well as, resistance against the injustices that the community faces. So one of the things we're doing right now is we're kind of creating the foundation for policy making in Jeffco, with the city councils and the county commissioners boards. So we're monitoring them and just looking out for any issues that involve the LGBTQ community, excuse me, the queer community, um, specifically around trans youth. I think is the main thing that most folks are kind of paying attention to right now, with a lot of the policies and regulations coming down from the national stage. So yeah, that's one main thing we're doing. And then we're also working on allyship opportunities with the congregation, creating events, workshops, just ways for the JUC community to interact and glean information that they may not have been aware of before.
So that's kind of an inside the congregation kind of a thing that you're doing, and creating allies, understanding and allies. Let's talk about something that so many people can identify with, whether they go to our church or not, which is policy. Are there specific things, for example, in Jeffco or in the state and the legislature that's now in session, that you want to try to make a difference?
So we're definitely watching what's happening at a state level. We know that we have the advantage in Colorado that folks haven't been able to get much in the way of anti-queer, anti-trans legislation through, which is great. And we know that there's pressure from all sides. And so that we need to be prepared. Another thing at a state level that we really are going to need to ramp up congregants on is some anti-trans measures that have hit the ballot for the fall due to citizen initiatives. And those, even though they're called citizen initiatives, the ones that have made the ballot are often funded by big outside money and don't really reflect the desires of Coloradans. And we've seen this in a whole bunch of issues.
So Jesse, what are these initiatives that we're going to be seeing on the ballot?
Yeah, so two of them are initiatives 109 and 110. 109 defines participation, male and female participation in school sports. And 110 says it prohibits certain surgeries on minors. Those are both targeted very specifically to limit who can get medical care and who can play sports based off of folks who are not medical providers, who are not parents. Right, they're dangerous. We really don't want people to be inspecting genitals of children to determine which surgeries they can have and which sports they're allowed to play, or if they're allowed to play sports at all.
So I'm imagining that your team will be working to really inform as many in the congregation and beyond about the potential impact of these measures.
Yes, absolutely. And the harms that can happen if those pass. Our legislature here in Colorado has been good about protecting children from things like folks trying to ban them from playing sports. And we really shouldn't overturn that based off of these ballot initiatives.
Well, you saying that reminds me that we have a close family member who's gay and often says Colorado, particularly relative to other states like Texas, but Colorado is a fairly safe feeling place to live. Avery, do you look at it that way? Does it feel like kind of a safe state? Or is that only feel safe when you think about other states like Texas?
So yeah, it is very relational to other states, depending on where they stand politically. There's a lot of people from Texas that actually moved to Colorado within the last year to because of um, intolerance. Um, and there's active organizations helping people relocate. Colorado is safer, but let's keep it safe.
And one way that this really intersects with the work of many of our other justice teams is that if people can physically relocate to Colorado, that's one thing. But if they can't afford housing, then they're at risk in a totally different way. And so the work of all of these teams is so connected. And so that's part of why we've been building partnerships with our other justice teams, is we recognize how interconnected those issues are.
Let's switch to why you do this work. Avery, what makes you put your effort and your passions into queer social justice?
Because it matters. Um, Most folks don't have a lot of time to give. Um, Either they have their own families, works a lot, and they need free time to just kind of cope with how much work is. Not everybody has the free time. So I think that if you do have time and you do have the energy, um, it's something that you can get behind. I also find social justice, very interesting. It's There's a balance, there's a duality to it. On one hand, society kind of paints it as like a savior complex, maybe a little hint of Christianity in that, right? The white knight coming in to save people. Um, but I also think it really does bring about an authentic humility. Um, a lot of people have deterred me from doing social justice actually since I've been here in Colorado, and I look at them kind of strangely because I'm just like if I have the energy, then I should do it. If I have the passion for it, I should do it. But you know, you're not there to save people, right? But at the same time, every little time, like moment that you have, any connection that you can bring, it really does ripple through in ways that you can't foresee. The synchronicity of it is amazing. Um, I love networking. I love finding connections with people that I never knew I could have, um, and seeing how that blossoms into something that I had no control over. And I find, because this issue matters to me so much, and I mean, on top of the other issues that matter to me, immigration matters to me, housing matters to me, food security matters to me. All of these issues are connected in the queer community. And so, it's time to show up and give the time that I have, be balanced about it, be mindful about it, not burn out about it, and just authentically give what I have.
Jessie said to me once that she worried that sometimes people are afraid to dig in because they think they won't have enough time to do anything meaningful, so they don't give any time at all. What do you say to those people, Jessie?
One, we're working really hard to make it so that people can participate at whatever level works for them. Um, and two, that some level of action really counteracts a lot of the hopelessness that it's really easy to feel right now. Um, and so just finding little ways to plug in um, can make such a big difference and be energizing instead of something that saps your energy.
I have one more question for you both. We could go on and on, but uh, the question is, in a podcast called Faithful Resistance, where do you get your faith grounding to do this work?
For me, the core of my Unitarian Universalist faith, right? It's right. We talk about love at the center. Love is that thing. And I know that we have to do love as an action and hold that. And to call back to the Unitarian Universalist principles, that second principle of justice, equity, and compassion in human relations has been for a long time where I've centered my faith. And right, it's why I work with our kids. It's why I ensure that I'm able to have some other impact. And this group really feels like something that uh, gives me some of that energy, right? Having other people who are a part of it. Uh, and so sometimes I'm tired and exhausted. And right, if I'm really exhausted, yeah, I take a break. That's really important. And at other times, the exhaustion is coming from a feeling of hopelessness. And that's where getting to see our kids, so many of whom are queer in some way, right? Being able to be themselves and knowing that we need to do what we can to make sure that they are safe to be the fullest versions of themselves in the future and now. And also, right, I'll have somebody like Avery reach out and say, hey, I have this idea. And so being able to feed off of ideas from Avery and from others in our team can help energize.
Yeah, I would say, I'm still pretty new to Unitarianism, and one of the biggest things that, you know, I kind of center myself around is the idea that we're based on covenant. Um, that is it's such a basic idea, but it is so transformational for folks in the queer community that have maybe come from other religious backgrounds where, there was a lot of prejudice, there was a lot of shame and guilt, and, you know, having the space to say, hey, you get to have a say in how we connect and how we commune with each other. Um, I believe Universalism a is a beautiful third space for queer folks. Third space being that you don't have to pay to be there. You don't have to give something of yourself other than to just show up and commune with other people. Um, and it's a safe space. And how beautiful is that? Because there's not a lot of third spaces for queer people these days. So really, what I focus on the most is we are in covenant with each other to create these safe spaces that we all really cherish and need.
Well, I think you're both are doing a whole lot more than just showing up. Thank you for your leadership in this, and I'm hoping that others will see this and think, maybe I have some time to help on the queer social justice team too. So thank you. I hope we talk again.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Thanks, Chris.
If you have ideas or connections for other people to interview, please email us at faithfulresistance@jeffersonunitarian.org. And do your best to put love at the center. Use your voice and keep on doing the next right thing. Go out and do the next right thing.